Hello, this is your favorite just got a haircut but kinda look like a girl type of haircut, poo poo noob. And this is my top 10 PlayStation 1 games of all time. Now, this is totally not going to be an objective list at all. It is my personal top 10 list, and I make the rules. So you might see like more than one game in the same spot. Usually I will do that if I really have to. And because I'm just kind of lazy, not wanting to make one of those honorable mentions. So yeah, let's get on with it. So the PlayStation 1. Number 10 is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now I know the movie is universally hated. I know the trilogy, I guess, a lot of people hated it. But the Phantom went out of the three movies at that time when it came out, only one came out. But looking back at it now, Phantom Menace is probably the best one. I would say it had the coolest villain for sure. So the Phantom Menace wasn't so bad just because of Darth Maul, and the video game is actually really fun. I don't know why. It's an action adventure game, third person, but you're looking more like an isometric view. You can use Qui-Gon Jinn. I believe you mostly use Qui-Gon Jinn, and maybe a little bit of Obi-Wan. But I remember mostly using Qui-Gon Jinn, and it was really really fun because as a kid, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun. Darth Maul was really cool, and this was probably my first Star Wars game. I'm gonna say it was my first Star Wars games, and you get to bounce lasers back and with your lightsaber, and you get to go into lightsaber duels. So as a kid, that was fucking amazing, right? So this is my number 10. Number 9, Metal Gear Solid. Now I think most lists should have this game, but I actually almost dropped it on my top 10 list. Not because I did not like it. I did enjoy it. It was I would say it was my first foray into stealth gaming. Video games is stealth video games, or the stealth mechanic. Why I did not, why was I was thinking of not putting it in the list is because as a kid, the story confused the fuck out of me. I did not know what was happening. Sometimes I didn't know what I was doing. The gameplay was fine. The gameplay was fun actually. The gameplay was fun. And the game basically got into my list just purely on gameplay. Not really on the story, because I was confused as fuck. I did not know what was happening. But still a really cool game. You all know Metal Gear Solid. I don't need to talk about it anymore. You all know what it is. So yes. My number 8 is Legend of Mana. Now this is my first Mana game, and only Mana game, I think. Most probably was my only Mana game, but it's definitely my first. Known in Japan as what was it known in Japan for? Seiken Densetsu Legend of Mana. So I really liked the world and the art in this game. It's basically an action RPG. Very very beautiful art. I felt the world was very vibrant, and there was actually one part in the game where you needed to translate a language of like a creature, like a bear type creature, I think, if I remember correctly. It wasn't very hard. There was only like so many words, maybe 30 to 50-ish words. But I loved the game so much that I freaking memorized all the words, and I was able to make conversation. I knew what they were talking about, not referring to my notes. So the game is really really cool. If you like action RPGs, if you like really vibrant, beautiful worlds, this is definitely a game you should try out. Number 7 is Legend of Dragoon. Now, Legend of Dragoon is a turn-based RPG. It was developed by Sony. I'm pretty sure it was Sony Computer Entertainment. And I really liked it because it was really really cool. It had really cool mechanics where you get to change into a dragoon, which like I think you're paired with like a dragon or something, and then it gives you like some special armor, and each of them have their own elements. And the turn-based turn-based combat actually has something different in it. There is what I would consider very, very early QTE. So whenever you attack, you have to time it a certain there's a certain timing to increase the damage, and it was really, really cool. Can't remember much of the story, but it was one of the epic RPGs that I played on the PlayStation 1. There's quite a few, and most of them are JRPGs. I think all of them were JRPGs. And Legend of Dragoons, if you like JRPGs, that is definitely one you should check out. Number 6, Harvest Moon Back to Nature. This is my first Harvest Moon game. Did not have a Nintendo console. It was only on Nintendo, right? Did not have any Nintendo consoles back then. So a lot of the first in the franchise were for the PlayStation 1 for me. And Harvest Moon Back to Nature was my first Harvest Moon game. And it was fucking amazing. I didn't think that a game, as a kid, I was playing like Legend of Dragoon and shit like that, right? I did not think a game about farming would get me hooked that much, and playing it for so many hours. It's crazy. I love it because it was just so there was so many things to do, like there's farming and fishing and dating and getting money to build houses. I really, really suck at the game though. I really, really suck at it. But it was really, really fun. So we reach number 5, the middle of the list. And number 5 has 2 games. The first one is SpiderMan, the 2000 video game. And the second one is Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro. Both were published by Activision. The first one was made by Neversoft. I'm sure you guys know Neversoft if you played the PlayStation 1. And the second one was made by Vickers Visions. This was my first... It wasn't my first Spider-Man game. My first Spider-Man game was Maximum Carnage. That was fucking amazing. I love that game so much. But this was the first superhero game that really made me feel like a superhero. Although it's very limited. Like, this game, if you haven't played it before, is totally not like the games that we have now today. Obviously, the Spider-Man that we have now today is mostly open world. You get to swing everywhere, and it's really gives you that really cool feeling. And this one doesn't have that. It's more linear stages, but it does have the swinging mechanic that Maximum Carnage did not really have. So it felt like I was really, I was like really playing Spider-Man. In Maximum Carnage, I just felt I was punching things most of the time. I still love that game, don't get me wrong, but these 2 first Activision Spider-Mans that I played were the ones that really made me feel like I was playing Spider-Man. And it had so many cameos from the other Marvel characters: Wolverine, Beast, Black Cat, right? That's the name, Black Cat. So many different, and it had Venom as well, which is my favorite comic book character. So it had so many things going on for it. It also had a lot of secrets, different suits. I believe he had Stan Lee doing some voiceover. So it was as a kid who really liked Spider-Man, this was the game to get, and I was really, really glad I get to play it. So it's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro. It's my number 5 shared number 5 games for the PlayStation 1. Number 4, I'm sure a lot of you know this game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. So I played the first one. It's developed by Neversoft, the guys who made the first Spider-Man game. So I played the first one. I really, really liked it. But the second one was like one of the best things I've ever played on the system. I still get nostalgia. I actually tried the new Tony Hawk that was supposedly a reboot that came out on the PC. Oh man, it was so fucking bad. I'm not even sure why. Maybe it just doesn't feel that good for modern gaming. Controls felt clunky or whatever, but back then, holy shit, the soundtrack was amazing. Bunch of secrets in each level. The crazy combos that you get to do on your tricks, and did it have a level editor? I sort of remember it had a level editor kind of thing. I'm not sure, but great combos, great music, a bunch of different skaters to try. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I don't watch like skateboarding and like the X games or whatever, but this game got me really interested in like X games, and I watched like the half pipe, the what was it called, the park or street skateboarding, Matt Hoffman BMX. I watched him. I also played Matt Hoffman BMX, by the way. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, one of my favorite sports games of all time. Really, really special place in my heart. Now, the next three, it's really difficult to choose the ranking for, but I think on different days I would say I would give a different answer, but this three will always be my top three. So at number 3 is Chrono Cross. Again, my first game in the Chrono series. I did not play Chrono Trigger previously. Before this, I've already played it. Great game. But my first Chrono game was Chrono Cross. Man, it was so fucking epic. JRPG. If you have not played this, you really need to play it. If you're into JRPG. So, great. I just love the characters. I love the story. Sometimes I'm still kind of confused of what happened. I really hope they make a third Chrono. Chrono Cross was so amazing. 11 fucking different endings. That was like my first time ever experiencing something like that. 11 different endings. I think I got like 5 or 4, I believe. I played this game a few times. I love the combat. Music is amazing. One of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Such a well-made game. I can't think of anything negative to say about it. Chrono Cross, one of the best JRPGs I've ever played. Go and play it. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is Dragon Warrior 7 or Dragon Quest 7. Back then I played it. It was called Dragon Warrior 7. That's what it's called in Japan, and Dragon Quest in everywhere else. But Dragon Warrior 7, holy shit! I played that game for so many fucking hours just to get all the jobs and all the special jobs and just leveling up all the freaking jobs and building like the freaking island. Holy shit. Dragon Warrior 7 is a JRPG made by Enix before they got together with Square. Before Square Enix was a thing, Enix and Square were two different companies, right? So this was their answer to the Final Fantasy series. At first I did not know what this was, but then I heard that it sold more than Final Fantasy VIII, which was the Final Fantasy that came out at that time. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. And I was not disappointed at all. Dragon Quest 7 is one of the best JRPGs I've ever played. Holy shit. And I'm so excited for the 3DS version coming out soon. I have $40 in my eShop. Day 1 I'm gonna fucking buy it again. Holy shit, Square is taking so much of my money. But yeah, so many things to do, so much customization. The story is kind of meh. I loved it is because of the customization mostly and the jobs, and holy shit, so much grinding. But yeah, I think I played this more than FF8. I think I put more hours into this game than FF8. And my number 1 game of the PS1 of all time is Final Fantasy VIII. Yes, not Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8. Why didn't I put 7? Because I did not play 7, and until today I still have not played 7. I've played 8, 9, 10, not 11, I didn't play the MMO, 12 a bit, 10 2, I even played 13, I played 6, I played 4. 7 is one of the only ones I have not played. I'm not sure if I can go back and play it now because it's so dated, the mechanics. I don't have a PS4, so I can't play the remake, and I'm sure it's very, very different. So yeah, Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite game of all time on the PS1. It was my first epic RPG. Before Legend of Dragoon, before Legend of Mana, before Dragon Quest, before Chrono Cross, FF8 was my first epic RPG. I've never played anything like it before. I never played anything with like a big sprawling story that spanned 4 fucking discs. And I don't remember playing any RPGs beforehand. So there was a learning curve, but oh my god, I love it so much. Music is great. I love the draw system and the junction system. I think I know a lot of people hate it, but it's my first Final Fantasy, so nostalgia. I love all the Guardian Forces or the summons. The story is really weird, which I really liked. Until today, I still sometimes watch Final Fantasy VIII fan theory videos, and I still listen to the soundtrack very, very often. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It's not even it's not just my favorite game on the PS1. It's like if I do a top 5 or a top 10, it will be in there, probably in the top 5. So yeah, Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite game of all time on the PS1. That's my list, guys. Let me know in the comments below what were your favorite PS1 games, and if you never had a PS1, what were the games that you've always wanted to play or that you've already played because of like emulators or because you have the money now to buy, whatever. Just let me know what are your favorite PlayStation 1 games. With that, this is my first video in this. I'm gonna make like 3 more videos. I'm gonna have the PS2 top 10, a Nintendo DS top 10, and a PS3 top 10. I wanted to do a PC top 10, but the PC is just so big. I don't even know where to draw the line. Maybe I should try drawing the line with years. Maybe 2000 to 2010 or something, or 2010 and below. Maybe I'll do a PC version of this top 10 list. But I'm gonna do the next 3: PS2, Nintendo DS, and the PS3. So yeah, and this is the first of those videos. That was my top 10 PS1 games. Do like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, if you've been watching until here all the way. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.